Hey everybody, welcome to Shadow and LightWork, a channel all about tarot, astrology, energy work, and spiritual well-being. I'm Michelle, and this is your tarot message for Wednesday, March 17th, and happy St. Patrick's Day. So I thought it'd be kind of cool to pull out the green a little bit. So the green Gummy Bear says happy St. Patrick's Day. All right, let's go ahead and get started. See what the message is for Wednesday. So how are you celebrating St. Patrick's Day this year? And that's a bit of a challenge to get out in large groups. The world. Oh, look at that. That's an auspicious card. The Emperor. And boy, the Gummy Bears are being a little talkative today. And the King of Wands. That's some big energy there. All right. Okay, so we have 3 really magical cards here. This is a lot of energy. All right, let's start with the World. So the World is the last card of the Major Arcana. It's number 21. So if you remember, the Major Arcana it represents the journey of the Fool. So we have the 0 card as the Fool. It goes through the Magician, the High Priestess, the Empress, the Emperor, number 4. Then we have the Hierophant, the Lovers, all the way through up to the last card, 21, the World. The World represents completion. So it's the completion of the journey of the Fool, where that journey starts all over again. So the wreath here represents that cycle of in my beginning is my end, in my end is my beginning. The Ouroboros, the tail, or the snake eating its tail. It's a cycle of completion. So we have the cycle here. We also have the World represented in the Emperor's hand, along with the Staff of Wisdom. And we've got 2 magical wands in the Gummy Bear's hand inside the wreath. And we have another wand, a wand of fire, with the King of Wands is holding. Okay, so there's a good bit of symbolism in here. Back to the World. The World also has balance and completion on all levels of being. So we've got air represented by Aquarius, the fixed sign of Aquarius. We have water represented by the fixed sign of Scorpio. We have fire represented by the fixed sign of Leo. And we have earth represented by the fixed sign of Taurus. So everything is balanced, it's complete, and similar to the 10s in each of the suits, the 10s, the 10 of Wands, the 10 of Cups, they represent reaching a pinnacle, a completion in a stage related to that element. This card represents completion on all 4 levels. It's a big summer. It's a big finale. It's a big expression of wholeness and achievement and unity. It can represent an activity on the inside or something that's reflected in the outer world. It's probably a bit of both. There's probably a sense of achievement, a big achievement with this card. Okay, the Emperor. So if this is the subject, then the Emperor is the focus. And the Emperor represents enlightened leadership and divine masculine. So this is about sharing your wisdom with others. It represents authority, leadership, setting, with the aspect of judgment in there being the Emperor, there's also about setting boundaries, walking that fine line and judging between when to get involved, when not to get involved, when to step forward, when not to, when to lead and when to follow, those kinds of things. But there is the aspect of authority. So perhaps this could represent a stage in a career where you've achieved a level of authority and mentorship, and you're starting to share it with others, maybe creating a class or an apprenticeship for others. All right, let's take a look at the King of Wands. So the King of Wands is the masculine energy, the king. The King of Wands, what am I trying to say? So the King of Wands is the combination of the groundedness, the grounding earthiness of the king, along with the fire aspect of the wands. Let me try to put that together to make sense. So the king also represents, like the emperor, teaching, guiding, mentoring others. It's the point. He's the most developed character in the suits of each element. We go from the page, the knight, the queen, to the king. And the king represents mastering that particular element, the aspects of that particular element. So in this case, the king has mastered the element of fire, which is will, determination, energy, passion. Fire can represent wisdom of spirit, a vision, in other words. So the king is a visionary. He represents spiritual growth, leadership, entrepreneurship, evolution. He represents the power to take on a challenge, to drive it forward with strength and integrity. If we're looking at astrological signs, out of all the court cards, the King of Wands would represent Sagittarius, the sign of Sagittarius. So think about the characteristics of that particular astrological sign. So let's see. I'm half tempted to take another card. Okay, so I'm going to take draw an oracle card to see if we can get some direction as to what area or what aspect of life this may be representing. So I have the Colette Baron Reed, Wisdom of the Oracle. And while I'm shuffling here, I had another thought too, is with the new moon in Pisces, the new moon represents new beginnings, new starts, and this represents the completion of a cycle. But it also has a lot of intuition and wisdom in there. So just a reminder, I don't know if you've been having any really vivid dreams or inspirations, but do pay attention to your intuition, the dreams that you're having, the random thoughts, any interesting things that you're spotting in nature. If there's a particular animal that keeps showing up in your day at random, it could be in a picture, it could be while you're on a walk in the woods, it could be on a card. I'm not sure gummy bears count, but they could. Okay, so let Baron read. Is there an oracle card? Okay. Observer. Interesting. Okay, we'll put that there. So that's a fox sitting on an egg, looking at the skies and the moon for inspiration. I'll leave that there. And we'll take a look at what this particular oracle card has to say. Okay, so it's interesting that this particular card represents perspective, gaining perspective, neutral observation from a distance, being objective. And it's a fox looking into the night sky. So it really is about looking at a situation from a different angle, a broader perspective. So I'll just read a little excerpt from Colette Baron Reed's guide to the Wisdom of the Oracle. Most people see the world through a personal lens. They closely identify with their feelings and experiences, so much so they come to believe that these are the only reality. There are times when you need to distance in order to gain perspective and understand your circumstances from a more neutral vantage point. Now is one of those times in your life. And it can go both ways. So in this message, there is the Emperor, which represents leadership. So it can be maybe even a combination of both, but it can be one or the other. It can be about you providing that perspective for another person, or another person providing that perspective for you in a situation. It's an advantageous time for you to get some distance from what you're doing and see your work and your projects from a different perspective. The trick is to connect to the essence of your goals and aspirations while letting the form and timing be dictated by spirit. You may be too personally attached to an outcome and unable to see the miracle because it's not turning out exactly as you planned. So trust spirit. The perfect vision of your abundance is right in front of you. Remain neutral and curious and watch the miracle unfold. So it's about creativity as well, being inspired to go in a different direction. And the World card, has an element of both of those things, to complete one cycle and start another. The Wand suit is all about inspiration and energy and driving forward with the experience and maturity of the king, the emperor, and the world. All right, so I'm going to close the reading there. Do pay attention to your dreams, because you can provide your own inspiration, or your subconscious can provide your own inspiration and direction if you take a moment to listen. Okay, happy Wednesday. Namaste. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Namaste.